Hi everybody, it's Nigel here for another Carey Kids Bible Talk. Well, I wonder, do you like going for long walks? Maybe you've been able to make the most of some of the pretty good weather we've had over the Easter holidays so far. Maybe you've been out with some of your friends or just with your family into the country maybe. You know, a long walk is a great opportunity for a good chat. And you can find yourself talking about all sorts of things, sometimes reminiscing. That just means looking back over times past and thinking how some of the things that happened have made an impact on your life now. You know, often it's only when you look back that you see why certain things had to happen to get you where you are today. Like joining the dots on a picture graph or putting pieces of a jigsaw puzzle together bit by bit. Well, in today's Bible talk, we are going to be part of a conversation that took place between two friends of Jesus and Jesus himself. This is amazing because all of this took place on the first Easter Sunday. In the story, over the last few days, Jesus has been arrested, tried, crucified, and died. Then laid to rest in a tomb. But as we know, Jesus did not stay dead. He rose from the dead and appeared to many people. In this wonderful account, we are going to hear of two disciples of Jesus who thought that they'd lost their leader and friend, but would soon discover that he was alive and actually talking with them in person. Listen as we embrace the strong emotions of these disciples as it slowly dawns on them that this was all meant to be. Cleopas and his friend had been to the big city of Jerusalem for the Passover festival. They thought it would be a happy time, but things hadn't turned out that way at all. And now it was time to go home. It was Sunday, and there was no reason for them to stay in Jerusalem. Now, it would probably have taken them 2 long hours to get to Emmaus, which is the place they were heading for. While they were talking about the events of the past few days, suddenly someone came up behind them and began walking with them. It was Jesus. But they didn't know that yet. The Bible tells us that they were kept from recognizing him. But this meant that they were freely able to pour out their grief and sadness and confusion over what had happened. Jesus said to them, "What are you talking about?" Well, Cleopas and his friend were surprised that this person did not know what had happened in Jerusalem. So they told him. They told him how their friend Jesus had died, and this very morning some people had been to where Jesus' body had been buried, but his body was gone. They were told that Jesus was alive, but they just couldn't believe it. You know, it can't have been easy for them, can it? Imagine if it were you in that position. Would you have believed what people like Mary and the disciples had said about not seeing the body of Jesus in the tomb? Well, it was then that Jesus took the opportunity to speak with them, reminding them of all that was written in the Old Testament about God sending his son Jesus to save people from their sins, that he would die but come alive again after 3 days. Wow, it must have been one of the most amazing conversations ever, seeing how the Old Testament puzzle pieces actually fitted together to reveal God's saving plan. Eventually, they arrived at Emmaus, and as it was nearly dark, Cleopas and his friend invited Jesus to stay with them. So they sat down for a meal together, and Jesus gave thanks for the food. But it was when Jesus broke the bread and gave it to them that they suddenly realized who it was. It was Jesus. He was alive. Oh, for a few short seconds they were mega excited to think that they had been walking and talking with Jesus. Well, now they knew he was alive, and it was all true, all the things that they had been talking about. And then Jesus disappeared from their sight. How they'd have longed to have spoken with him more about these things. But you know, that was enough. Yep, that was enough for them. So they immediately decided to return to Jerusalem, that same long walk, and meet up with the other disciples, sharing everything that they had discussed with Jesus and exclaiming that Jesus is alive. There are 2 really important things we can learn from today's story. Firstly, everything in the Old Testament is about Jesus. All those amazing events that we've all read and learnt about in previous lessons all point to the fact that God would send his son Jesus to die so that we can have our sins forgiven. Incredible, isn't it? The second thing is, well, if all of that is true, then that means the New Testament must be true also, as it points to the end of time when Jesus will return once again to bring all those that have put their trust in him into his presence forever. Hundreds of people saw Jesus after he had risen from the dead and were able to tell others about him. Everything the Bible said about Jesus had come true. Jesus came to save people from all the wrong things they've done and get right with God forever. Have you put your trust in him yet? Remember, you can trust the words of Jesus 100%. Put your faith in Jesus today. Well, thanks for listening, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.